Geert Wilders shocked Europe in 2023. His Party for Freedom, PVV, topped the polls in the Dutch general election, seizing 37 out of 150 seats. The far-right firebrand, known for his anti-Islam, anti-immigration rhetoric, had finally broken into the mainstream. Many wondered, was the Netherlands about to become Europe's next populist laboratory? Fast forward to today, and the experiment seems to be failing. Wilders PVV is part of a four-party governing coalition, but the glow of victory is gone. Support for his party is plummeting, the coalition is in disarray, and the realities of governing are colliding hard with the promises of protest politics. Let's break down why Wilders' star is fading, and what it tells us about the limits of populism in power. First, the coalition was never natural. Wilders had to abandon many of his most radical ideas, like banning the Quran and shutting down mosques, to secure a coalition. He even gave up the chance to become Prime Minister. Instead, a technocrat named Dick Schoof was appointed to lead the government. This decision alienated hardline PVV supporters who wanted real disruption, not compromise. And for moderates, Wilders' rhetoric still raised red flags. Second, the housing crisis hit hard. The PVV entered government promising relief, but their main solution, a rent freeze, was widely criticised. Experts said it could actually worsen the crisis by discouraging construction and reducing supply. Voters wanted bold housing policies. What they got was a policy that addressed symptoms, not causes. Third, internal conflict is crippling the coalition. The PVV's Minister for Migration, Marjolaine Faber, has become a national punchline. She's clashed with MPs, made inflammatory statements, and blamed her own colleagues for policy gridlock. To PVV loyalists, she's a fighter. But to most Dutch voters, she's incompetent. That disconnect is dragging the party down in polls. Now, let's talk foreign policy, an area where the PVV is deeply divided from the Dutch mainstream. On Ukraine, the PVV has done a political backflip. Wilders once opposed aid to Ukraine, criticized Ukrainian refugees, and questioned Zelensky's legitimacy. But coalition agreements forced him to endorse full support for Ukraine, military, financial, and political. It's a pragmatic pivot, but voters notice the inconsistency. And when Wilders still links aid to Ukraine with domestic economic hardship, it feels opportunistic. Then there's Israel, a PVV cornerstone. Wilders is one of Europe's most hardline supporters of the Israeli government. He's pushed to move the Dutch embassy to Jerusalem, defended Netanyahu from International Criminal Court scrutiny, and attacked EU humanitarian policies in Gaza. For Wilders, Israel isn't just a foreign policy ally. It's a cultural symbol in his broader anti-Islam narrative. But again, the public mood is shifting. Dutch citizens are increasingly sensitive to the humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza. Wilders' absolutism, his refusal to acknowledge civilian suffering, puts him at odds with evolving public sentiment. And finally, there's the Trump factor. Wilders has long idolized Donald Trump, but that's becoming a liability. As Trump returns to the White House with a more aggressive agenda, many in the Netherlands are recoiling. Trump-style politics, loud, combative, unstable, no longer appeal in a Europe rocked by war, inflation, and ecological uncertainty. Wilders' embrace of Trumpian aesthetics may have won headlines in 2016. In 2025, It feels outdated, even dangerous. So what's next for Wilders? He may survive the coalition term, but unless he adapts, his political future is shrinking. His base is loyal but small. The broader Dutch electorate demands competence, results, and international responsibility. Populists thrive in opposition, but when they get into power, their contradictions are exposed. Geert Wilders has learned that lesson the hard way. For more insights on European politics, populism, and global diplomacy, like, subscribe, and follow us here at Western Relations. We're watching the world change, one coalition at a time.